Hey guys, thank you for joining me today, tonight. Good afternoon, good night, wherever you're at. Thank you for joining. Let's see who we got in the comments right now. We got Ron Bear. Shout out to Ron Bear. Ron Bear, you are the winner of a Marconi Arcane Tactical Magwell. So make sure you send your stuff to my email and then you'll receive the Magwell. There will be another Magwell that will be given out, but that's up to Flying Rich. He's gonna decide how he's gonna do it, what hashtag he's gonna make you guys use. Maybe DeSantis Airlines. Um, who knows? Whatever he wants, he could use it. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the show so you guys could be entered to win a Magwell. But the first Magwell goes to Ron Bear. Shout out. PC, always showing love. Remember, PC, I need your info, bro. You're the winner of the Ralph show, so we want to send you your prizes. Because me, I lag with that shit. I won't do it. Marconi's doing it. He's great with that. But me, I'm gonna take months, maybe years, to get your shit in the mail. Allegedly. We got Kurt. We got the man himself, Marconi Armory. Let's see who else do we got. We got DLD in the house. If you guys didn't see that DLD show last night, it got deep. That shit got real quick. But it's a great show. It was a great show. And thank you for everybody that was there. We got Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich is in the house. And we got the homie, Freedom One. Shout out to Freedom One. All right, we're gonna start this. You guys know who's here today. This man has had the most appearances on my show. Like, he's been on my show multiple times. It's the only person that could do that. Like, he has a hack that he knows how to use, that he could come on my show whenever he wants. And this person is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rich.
Hey, how's it going, man?
How you doing, bro? Yeah, bro. Like, do you know that you're like the only returning customer? I mean, the only returning guest that has the most appearances on Late Nights with the Bar. It's you, bro.
Well, that's because you pay so well, and the free lawn work you do. So yeah.
Exactly, bro. Like, that's what it is. It's that long work, bro. I'll go over next week, bro, and cut your trees and take care of your palm trees and your cacti. So make
Ooh,
sure you.
look at Goonbeam. They got like all my pronouns.
Yeah, Goombeam got down. Did you see what they put when they shared? Shout out to Goombeam for sure. Um, yeah, they actually put everything right, bro. Everything you told them, they remembered it. Also, remember, guys, that this show is brought to you by the Mag Project. Use Sabr for 5% off. We're working on something for you guys, and that's gonna be next week. But if you need custom mags that you want to put whatever you want to put on it on that mag, he will do it for you. He will do it for you. So reach out to the Mag Project for your custom work or whatever work he has in stock. Make sure you guys use Sabr for 5% off.
Oh, cool. I'm on a spending freeze right now.
Oh yeah. I think it happens to all of us sometimes, bro. Like, we gotta put that credit card in the damn fridge, put it inside a block of ice, and then only use it for emergency.
Bad thing is it's on my phone and my watch.
Oh
And
man,
Google remembers the number.
Apple Pay, huh? Fuck, that's how they get you,
Well,
bro.
I'm not an Apple dude. Actually, all right. I'm Android everything except for my computer. I've got a Mac.
Okay. Yeah, so my computer is Windows or Linux, depending on what I'm doing. But the work computer that I use right now, it's Windows. And then my personal computer is, I run Linux. I run Elementary OS. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I like
I,
the style. Have you ever
I
tried it?
tried an early elementary OS, and then whatever version I was using didn't have an upgrade path. I'm like, oh, they're out.
Yeah. So
Done.
so then they got better, and I like their frame. Like, it kind of gives you like the Apple vibe, right? And
Yes. Yeah.
and then for some time I was trying Ubuntu, but I don't really like Ubuntu that much. I don't know why.
Well, So I'm pretty much an Ubuntu fan, and most of my infrastructure here is headless Linux.
Okay.
So I'm running, like Armbian or some flavor like that on most. I have a lot of ARM-based computing going
Okay.
on.
Did you ever try Fedora or no?
No, no, Fedora's more corporate.
Right.
And I did Red Hat back in the day when it like just came out,
Hmm.
but not anymore. Actually, let's see. Yeah, my other than this spot of my world that you see,
Yeah.
it it looks like a bomb went off in my office. So I would show you my stack, my Raspberry Pi cluster that's running ESXi
Hmm.
or ARM, but it's too much of a freaking mess.
All right, guys. So the reason I wanted to have you here, Rich, is because I'm trying something different with season two. So this is season two. I'm bringing in a little bit of more known names, but at the same time, I'm trying to have more of a personal feel, right? Like I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I kind of want to get to people to understand who Flying Rich is. I mean, everybody sees Rich and they're like the guy with the 50, this legend, this untouchable man. But Rich has a life. Rich has a life out of this social media kingdom that he has created.
Hmm.
He's a
Yep.
normal person like me and you and everybody that's watching, right? And I know you spoke about this uh like on John Crumb's channel, and I think you've done it with Dark where you were having certain issues, right? With your
Oh God.
Is it okay if we
Yeah,
go?
yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, it's all out. So I've talked about it before, and I'm happy to go into all that. I might get choked up, but sure.
No, it's good, man. Um I feel that the way that we are able to release stuff and to get over stuff is by letting it go and repeating it, right? Like
Hmm.
yesterday, I kind of was a little bit concerned about talking about what I was talking, and then me and Dark were talking backstage, and he's all like, "Let's do it, man," and I'm like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it." And it actually was great because it made me realize like I'm I'm not where I want to be, but I'm
Hmm. Hmm.
sure in a better place than I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was prepared after your show with Dark last night. Talk about like my 10 best alcoholic blackouts.
Oh, damn! There you go. You see? I mean, we could talk about that too. Um, but let me ask you this, bro. Do you think that something that actually might have affected your relationship with your wife was social media or lack of communication? What's your
Wow, like
what?
all of the above. Um, Yeah, so pretty much I would wake up, go into this chair in this office, turn that way, do my day job, and after the day job, do John Crump Live and a bunch of other channels. My wife did her own thing. So we just had our 15-year anniversary in June,
Oh, congrats.
and that was a few weeks before she gave me the divorce papers she wrote up, and we agreed on who gets what.
So
So,
everything like I don't know if a lot of people know this, but before you even started talking about this, it was like a done deal. Like the papers were there. Like this,
oh
it,
yeah,
it was no joke. It was no like, hey, I'm using this to get your attention. Like this shit's gonna
no,
happen, right?
nope,
And
yeah,
and how did that make you feel, bro? Like, 'cause I'm gonna say
all
something
right,
quick, and then I'll let you speak your piece, right?
mm-hmm.
I've noticed that once you hit that 10-year mark and over that 10-year mark, if you don't try to keep your relationship good or like mix stuff up or remember how you guys started dating, stuff is just gonna like you guys are gonna give each other space. And once that happens, when you have space, you have time. When you have time to overthink. And you make your mind makes these scenarios that you start questioning stuff, right? What
So
what is your opinion on that? And
I don't know if that's my situation. So that boy, there to keep it to a 1 hour show, there's probably a lot I'm going to gloss over or
yeah,
or just hit like the highlights on. So um just my family situation. I'm trying to think how to give this. This isn't what I was prepared to talk about. Not that I really prepare, but
Yeah.
um, so what we weren't. All right, let me roll back. All right, I know how to frame this and talk about it. So I've probably had the worst 2.5, 3 years of my life.
Okay.
And this may sound, different things affect other people or everybody differently.
Yeah.
So I had a bird I raised from a chick, and I had him for 25 years, taught him to talk. He loved riding with me in the car and all that bit. And like, he died. Um, and I never thought it would be that big of a blow. It was a hell of a blow. So I think in that year, so Trump loses the election, Joe Biden gets inaugurated, my bird dies, Terry's mom passes, my dad passes, all the same year. Oh, and I got fired. I was out of work for 6 months.
And
So,
they say when it rains, it pours, huh? And that's
oh
true.
gosh, just now. Here's the interesting thing. While my life is a complete train wreck, I have the ability, like if I'm quiet, I'm overthinking crap and I'm going to drive myself crazy. Kind of like Matt Hoover sitting at home not making videos.
Yeah.
Um, and Matt's a super smart guy, and he needs to keep busy because otherwise he's going to get himself upset and overthink things. And I'm the same way.
Correct.
So, in fact, I can't even sleep unless I have I have a Plex server and I just play Stargate SG-1 over and over and over the entire 10 years. So there's something going in the background, so I'm not in here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't sleep.
Correct.
So, all right. So I gave you the whole 1 year train wreck.
Correct.
6 months of no job. All of a sudden, I got a job paying twice as much as my last job, working with cool AF people. I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, so things are on the up.
Yeah.
I get an offer on my house in New York for $10K more than I'm asking. That fell through, but so okay, I'm going to be selling the house. I'm going to have however it works, either all my bills paid off or money to play. I'm like thinking now I can be like a really good provider for my family.
Yeah.
We haven't been on a vacation in 10 years. We could go skiing in Colorado this winter, something. We'll do something nice. There's nice things I can do for my family. And then my wife's like, yeah, and I want a divorce. I'm like, now, don't get me wrong. It's not like all of a sudden it went, damn that thing.
That's fine, bro.
It's not like the marriage went all of a sudden bad. It just
happened.
Kind of, it died from neglect. Let's put it that way. And yeah, I was so when people saw me all over social media on everybody's show, yeah, my life was a freaking train wreck. But it's easy for me to stay distracted by being on somebody's show. And then I'm going to skip a little bit. All of a sudden, things between my wife and I patched up, and I was just doing John Crump Live, and that was it. And everybody's like, "Dude, you're not on the air. What's going on? Something wrong?" And I'm like, "No, it's the opposite. Everything's great.
Everything's amazing."
So what happened is, my wife's smart, and she got all the paperwork together and wrote it all up herself, and we got a worksheet and figured out who gets what and all that kind of thing. So we agreed on that, and once we did that, I said, okay, fine, you have your way out. I'm committed to this marriage, and I want to make it work.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not having any of that.
Yeah, I remember that you're like, nah, man, I'm gonna fight for this.
Yeah. So she wasn't having any of it. And so Dark had recommended the 5 languages of love or 5 love language, whatever.
Correct. Yes.
That's the book. So I got the audiobook because I'm a good audiobook person, not a good paper book person. So over 2 days, I listened to it, and I'd have to look. Um, it was like 11 days of, I figured out what her love languages were, in 11 days of that, and we reconciled, which probably is a world record. So yeah, she's been amazing. I fell into the trap of like, and don't get me wrong, I've been out of work for 6 months. So what I'm about to say, you can call me a complete hypocrite on. It's
Yes.
like, hey, I'm a good person. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I do social media. I don't even do sports. It's like, unless it's my daughter's college team, football, we watch the Gators, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I take care of things around the house. I'm handy. There isn't anything I can't fix. And other than being unemployed for 6 months, I'm a good provider, blah, blah, blah. What more could you ask for?
Correct.
Well, apparently, we all have one or, a combination of the 5 things that we like to be loved by, or the
Yeah.
languages of love. And I'd probably better off Googling it up so I don't look like an idiot when I start naming them. Um,
I think one
so
of them
there's,
is gifts, right? Like people
yeah,
like.
there's gifts, there's words of affirmation, there's physical touch, there's time, time together, and
I think.
uh, boy, that's 4.
Yeah. So I think it's gifts, right? Touch. Uh, get time, right? Where you give them time and you listen. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I remember that book
Okay.
because.
So, words of affirmation. Oh, acts of service. How did I miss that? So, my wife's number one is acts of service.
Mhm.
So, I just went overboard. And so it's not like you're one or two of the languages. You're all of them, but you're a focus on maybe one or two. So she's super big on acts of service, which I've realized because she would always call me like, "Hey, I need help with this. Hey, I need." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, she's definitely acts of service." And we would fight, and I've said, so here's the hard thing. I mostly know you from social media. Like Crump and Dark, I know better because I talk to them on the phone all the time. I do talk to you on the phone, but not as much as like Crump or Dark.
Yeah.
And as much as people may say they know me, I fight with me, and I can be the biggest asshole on the planet. I
Correct.
mean, and say some really hurtful shit.
Yeah.
So I know because one of the when you're trying to figure out somebody's love language, part of that is I know she's acts of service. That's number one. And then number 2 is like maybe it's not something you do, but maybe it's something they complain you don't do, and it's like words of affirmation, talking nicely, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I worked on that. I would, I got post-it notes here, but I would leave my wife like little notes, tell her she's pretty, I love her, just some nice note, which actually she would yell at me when I did. And she would have meetings in her office after work, and either I'd take her a plate for dinner, with food on it, or I'd take her plate after she ate and clean it up, and she'd yell at me for doing that because she didn't get what was going on. And it's kind of silly. So we've been married for 15 years and having a difficult relationship the whole time because we were not
Yeah.
really fulfilling each other's love language. So that's kind of a rough thing. And it's a shame. It's one of these things, like the quintessential commercial that you always hear for a product is like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, Rich, real quick.
Sure.
Do you feel that um, in like, you know how in the beginning when you're starting a relationship, you guys are doing all that courting, you're taking her out, you're giving her attention, right? And I feel that
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes when once we have what we want, right? Let's say like that, once we have the woman that we wanted to get, or she becomes our wife or our partner, we kind of
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
stop doing that because we felt like, hey man, we already got what we wanted, we don't need it. But we
Yeah, yep.
forget
We're
that it
done. Check
yeah,
that box.
yeah. But we forget that it's just like a car, right? If a car, you don't pay attention to it, the car's not gonna last. Anything
Yes,
in life,
yes,
if you don't
yes.
pay attention to it, if you don't take care of
In
it, it's not gonna last. And I
in
think that's
your work, your work life is just like your married or dating life also.
correct.
And you gotta pay attention to it. There's things you need to do to keep it going and keep the interest there.
Yes.
Um, so I got to tell you how we got married because
Go ahead.
uh, so I'm 56, and so I got married when I was 41,
Okay.
and I pretty much resigned myself that I was never going to get married.
Right.
Just never figured I would get married. I'm 41 years old, and whatever. I was working at Cornell Medical Center in Manhattan at the time, and I had the airplane, and I actually flew down to Florida. So Terry's dad, I actually worked for. I ran a business for him. So 35 years ago.
Okay.
And he retired and moved to Florida. So there's an air show every spring, like mid-April in
Mhm.
Florida. That's great to go to. So after it's like a cold winter in New York, there's nothing better than spending April, a week in Florida in April.
Yeah.
So I flew down and, I flew to see him like the night before the air show started.
Correct.
And Terry came out to dinner. And all the time I've known Bob, either, I was with somebody else or Terry was with somebody else. And she's an attractive lady. And I forget, boy, I should have wrote some of this stuff down because I forget the line. Like when she came, it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, she was
Yeah.
beautiful. So, we had dinner that night, and oh gosh, there were a couple of funny lines during dinner.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the funny lines was, so Terry adopted a girl from China,
Yeah.
and Skylar was 5 at the time, and it came up that she can't have kids. I'm like, oh, I'll help with that, or kind of
Yeah.
made that some joke like that. It sounded really funny at the time. We all had a good laugh.
A slight remark, you know?
So, like the next day, I flew to the air show, spent a day at the air show, woke up the next morning, flew back. It's my own plane. I go wherever the hell I want.
Yeah.
So, the air show is over at Lakeland, which is like on the west coast of Florida, and then I just flew back to the east coast to Palm Beach, and I spent the rest of the week, instead of at the air show, hanging out with Terry, and then flew back to New York. Now you got to realize the thin ice this is all on. I'm friends with her dad. Now her dad's my father's age,
Correct.
so it's not like I'm robbing the cradle or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're on your best behavior because that, as far as dating goes.
Yeah. Because
And then I flew back.
you have respect for her father.
Yeah. So, okay. So that was mid-April. So let's just say April 15th, 2007. We got married June 7th. Wait, June 14th. Sorry, June 14th, 2007. So May, June. So I flew back and forth a couple of times, and we decided we're getting married. So kind of both Terry and I were just, I was in a relationship for 11 years and, just out of that relationship a couple of months, and she was just out of a relationship a couple of months. So we kind of both were on the rebound. And so a lot of stuff going on. She never wanted to move back to New York. I was working in New York, and she ended up moving back to New York. And then like 10 months later, she moved back to Florida, and we were on the way out, like after 10 months. So
Yeah.
that rocky, real rocky beginning. And we reconciled. and it's tough. She's a strong woman. She's very opinionated. I'll tell you one of the fun things is her family's hopelessly liberal. They're very nice. I love them all, but they're liberal nut jobs.
Okay, so
And
when you found out that her family was very liberal, like how did that make you feel? Like because you guys were
well,
married, or you already knew that her
I
family?
already knew because I knew Bob, her dad, for 20 years before I married Terry.
Oh, okay.
So, but maybe I didn't realize how much liberal nut
Yeah.
job they are. And look, people have different opinions. You don't have to be a conservative right wing nut job to be my friend. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so Terry was living in Manhattan during 9/11, and that's when she became a Republican. And I say rhino, and she used to get mad when I said that, but like, I don't know if it was a year or two after we got married, maybe a little bit longer. I was listening to Mark Levin on a podcast, and she's like, "Oh, who's that?" And that was it. She was now the Jehovah Witness of conservatism.
That's dope.
And so my father-in-law, who's a very nice guy but liberal, I almost have to separate the two
Yeah.
because she goes at it. She is convicted in her conservatism.
I mean, I seen that when you guys went to that Mar-a-Lago thing, right? That
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, I was watching you guys, and I'm like, damn, because I'm like, oh, Rich is in Florida. Let me check out his stuff. And you were streaming,
yeah.
bro, and you were there with her, and I was like, hashtag couple goals. You know, I know it sounds corny, but I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, that's dope because you guys had something in
Oh, and
common
she was
that
still we were
was
still on
dope.
the outs at that point.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
So
like I'm gonna ask you something right now. Do you think that a lot of us sometimes we are brought up a certain way, we're programmed a certain way? Once we see the truth, we could change, but it takes some talking, not like you said, not hating on the people, not pushing the people away. Like once they see the light, the people
yeah, yeah.
like
So I mean, it's kind of lead the horse to water thing. Now, along with that, so my wife's Jewish. My daughter was raised Jewish and bat mitzvahed, and she recently on her own, converted, and she got baptized Christian. And Terry and I are now going to a Christian church on Sunday.
that's dope.
So all the time, Skylar, before she got bat mitzvahed, we were going to temple, and as a Christian, Judaism is just Old Testament. It's
Yes,
not.
correct. And there's a saying that you were able to marry people from the book. So people from the book were at that time Christians, Jews, and Muslims. As long and back in the days before all this stuff happened, right? But it was
Hmm.
okay for you to marry people from the book because you believed in the book, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
So it's just like Skylar said. So and Terry says the same thing. Like going to temple because everything's in Hebrew. You know what the words mean or the sounds of the words, but it's not.
yes,
You
it
know,
doesn't reach your heart. Like it doesn't
yeah.
go inside, and start figuring it out. Let me
And
ask you
and
something.
both
Let
Yeah,
me ask.
both Skylar and Terry said that they did not feel a connection to God in temple, but in church they do.
Yes. So that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think now that both of you guys are going to church, right? Has the relationship improved also? Because I think a lot of the things that they're trying to do at this moment is they're trying to take religion out of the household because religion keeps us
Sure.
together. Like even though people say, "Ah, I'm not that religious," but having some type of religion, having some type of faith, a belief, is gonna make us stronger as a family unit, and that's trying to
Hmm. Hmm.
take away. That's what they did it during COVID. They took away our faith, right?
Oh hell yeah, yeah. That's the craziest thing when you think about your First Amendment rights. The right to assemble, the right to freedom of religion, and basically all of that was taken away during COVID, which is crazy. And one car fast asked if I speak German. Very little. I could understand more because my mom was fresh off the boat
Okay.
from Germany. All right, and trivia fact: my mother was in the Hitler Youth.
Yeah. I believe you said it before. but everybody was. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody was. You had to be part of it because if not, your kids would tell on you and you would get arrested. It was just
yeah.
it was the
It
social
was like the Girl Scouts or brownies or whatever. But
correct.
yes.
Um, so let's go back, Rich. I think you hit the the nail with the hammer with what you said. COVID. It all started with COVID. COVID
Hmm.
really messed a lot of us up. Like that's when I had my thing going down with my son
Oh,
because
jeez.
my son was staying more at home. He wasn't, my son had issues with anxiety and I think he might have been depressed. I'm not a
Hmm.
doctor, I
Hmm.
can't say it, but I felt like COVID really messed him up because he was stuck at home and the mom was at home and the mom is not the sanest person, of the bunch. I know it sounds hard to believe. She's a great woman, but
Hmm.
she's not very in touch with her emotions and her feelings because that's the way she was raised. Um, so I think that meant COVID really was an experiment to see how they could take away the family unit, destroy us, and without even with us allowing them to do that to us.
In I don't think we're going to put up with pandemic 2.0.
Nah,
If they try to pull the COVID, it's like for if there's DeSantis in Florida, f no. And it was so bad when you think about the bullshit that they did to us. Like July 4th during COVID, we were not allowed on the beach. You in Florida, you could not go in Palm Beach County. The beach was closed.
yeah, I saw that somebody got arrested because he was the only one by himself walking on the beach, and the cops went and chased him down. Let me ask you this: they're backpedaling now, bro. They're backpedaling and saying that the stuff that happened, what might have been a little bit too excessive, right? Why are they
Yeah, I mean,
backpedaling?
this is what pisses me the fuck off is hold on, where's my pocket constitution? There's no goddamn asterisk here that says in case of COVID. It
Nah,
doesn't say, oh, well, you have these rights unless COVID.
yeah,
No, there's nothing in there that says that.
about no pandemic.
And and it's kind of like I got a 50 cal. Why? I don't need a 50 cal. Never needed a 50 cal. I got a 50 cal because it makes liberals cry because
Correct.
they don't want you to have them.
Yeah, they're scared. They're like the crazy man with the big gun. But it's your damn right. You could
Yeah, yeah.
be what you could have as look. I tell people this, and this is how a lot of us that are Mexican and are raised in the U.S. think, right? Because Mexico is it like you guys need to understand. Mexico is a little bit better now. The only issue right now that's going on in Mexico is that there was a regime change. Like the people in power turned over, and it's the same thing that's happening here. Democrats, Republicans in Mexico, you have El PRI and you have other political parties, but there's only two main parties in Mexico that always get the vote. So
Hmm.
when there was that change, people started realizing like, hey, we were lied to, we were bamboozled, we were hoodwinked, and now people are protecting themselves and arming themselves. Mexico has you have the right to own guns in Mexico. The only problem is Mexico only has one gun store. Why would they do that? Like, why would they only have one gun store? Because that's how they control you, and that's what
No,
they're
now if
trying to
Mexico
do
was the size of Rhode Island, that's one thing, but it's not.
here. It's not. It's not, bro. It's big, and half of these people can't travel all the way over there to buy a gun.
So it's in Mexico City, right?
Yes, Mexico City, like the most danger. It's like just California, bro. Like the most
You
dangerous.
mean the kidnap capital of the world?
Correct. The fraud capital of the world. Don't ever, if you go to Mexico, don't ever get on a green cab. Make sure that you either rent your car, hire an actual Uber, check his credentials because these people will drive you around and get in accidents and try to make you pay for the accidents that they cause. Like it's bad. Mexico City is very beautiful. The problem it's very bad because it's just like California. It's just like California and it's just like San Francisco. To be honest, bro, Mexico City is like San Francisco. There's a lot of money, and then there's poverty. And
Hmm. Hmm.
when the balance is like this, when it's not equal, that there's problems. Look at what's happening in San Francisco. Look at what's happening. I think today in Angeles on Skid Road, they found
I
nine.
was going to say Martha's Vineyard, but they took care of that
Yes.
problem in under 24 hours.
Why? Why do you think that happened so quick? No, let's talk about it, right? Like, why? Look, me and you were talking about this, and we were saying it's okay for us to clean their garbage, clean their homes, raise their kids, because half of these babysitters are Latina women because they want the kids
Yeah,
to learn Spanish, and they don't need to pay a tutor, but they don't want us there overnight.
right, right.
Why?
Yeah, there's um I think it's just elitism. It's elitism and hypocrisy that these people, meaning the white Martha's Vineyard people, and don't get me wrong, it's like I learned how to fly in Long Island, so there was nothing better than flying over to Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket or Block Island and hanging out.
I,
You know
I
that was
I am allowed in Martha's Vineyard, bro, but only during working hours. After working
right,
hours,
right.
or has to leave.
Yeah, so one of the memes was, a Karen calling the police in Martha's Vineyard. It's like, I see a dark person and they're not carrying a leaf blower.
Yes, yes, bro. Like the comments were crazy, and the thing that I'm gonna tell you guys is that if you guys notice, these people were not Mexicans. No Mexicans.
Yeah.
To be honest, Mexicans don't want to come here anymore. They don't like because Mexico is getting a little bit better. The
Hmm.
my all my cousins have homes, like they own homes, bro, and they're younger than me. Um, and a lot
Cool.
of people from America are actually going and retiring to Mexico because the dollar has a longer stretch in Mexico. It's hard now to be a retiree. If you worked your whole life, you paid your taxes, you paid for your social security, and when you're retired, if you don't have a home, you're not gonna be able to make it in America, which is sad, which is bullshit because they took our taxes. These people were people that were really working. These weren't people living off of pandemic money. This was not people living off like the new retirees that are coming in. These are people that busted their butt, and for them not to
Hmm.
enjoy their freedoms and to have to move to Mexico, how bad is it now? Like everybody's gonna like. I got a call last time, right, Rich? A couple of days ago, they told me they wanted to do a input and tell me who I was gonna vote for, right? And I said,
Oh,
okay,
no shit.
yes. They called and asked, I'm gonna run some names, and you tell me how would if you would vote for this person or not. And they start off, they knew my last name and my phone number, right? They knew I was Mexican, so they start throwing Mexican names at me, right? Would you vote for this person? And I'm like, well, are they Democrat or Republican? I don't know.
Nah.
I don't know. And I said, I'll tell you this. When I go vote, I'm gonna vote Republican. I ain't voting for no Democrat. I don't care if that Democrat is Mexican. I'm voting red. That's what I'm voting. And I
Wow.
hung up on her, bro. And she was just quiet. Like, don't come at me with those, oh, would you vote for Martinez, Villarreal, whatever, whatever. No, I'm voting red. Like that's what I'm voting. Like that's what I'm registered as. I'm registered as a Republican. That's what I'm gonna vote for. I voted
No
for Trump.
shit.
Yeah, bro. I voted for Trump. To be honest, in all honesty, I did. Like, even my brother voted for Trump. You know what I mean?
So I'm looking at so flying into Martha's Vineyard Airport is super freaking cool because they have the tail number of your plane and then they greet you by name because they look up the registration of the airplane.
Oh, okay.
And then they store all of your information, your name, your phone number, your credit card. So when you want the plane fueled up, in being a plane owner, there's nothing cooler than picking up your phone and say, "Yeah, hey, I'm going to be at the airport in half an hour. Can you fuel up my plane and have it ready to go?" But that's the coolest phone call to make in public.
Yeah, I bet you.
Um,
That's super cool. That's a flex, man.
but
For real.
but I'm looking for the map because where the airport is, you got to take a bus into town because the airport like is in the middle of the island and there's
Mhm.
nothing around there. And there actually was like last time I was in Martha's Vineyard, which dog years ago, so we're talking more than 15 years ago. Um, there's a town square, and I did see homeless people in Martha's Vineyard. I was
Oh,
like, whoa, because I was used to going to like Nantucket, and you don't see any of that, and like Block Island, none of that, and Shelter Island, where I spent a lot of time there growing up
mhm.
in the summers. But uh, yeah. So, and I laughed so hard when they said, "Oh yeah, we have a housing problem as it is." It's like nobody. This is like the secret is right now after Labor Day is the best time to be in Montauk, the Hamptons, Shelter Island, Block Island, any of that stuff, Martha's Vineyard,
Hey, so
because
why is that? Like the weather
because
changes?
all of the city idiots are gone.
Oh, okay.
It's like I mean, yeah. If you're going out to the Hamptons or any of those places for the parties and the clubs, all right, yeah. So there's none of that. If you're going out there to be in a really beautiful place and
Yeah,
hang out, that's the time to be there with like no traffic, no BS.
yeah.
That's when to go.
That's crazy, man. Okay, so let's talk about something that you were saying, right? You were saying that what helped you learn a little bit more about your wife was reading that book about the love languages, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Did that book help you, Rich, figure out your love language? Like did
Yeah. It's stuff I never knew before. So I'm probably it. It's I my number one is definitely touch, and I'm not sure if my number two, and it might be I have two number twos, like words of affirmation. Which, if my wife smiles at me, that's the biggest affirmation in the world. That's like, whoa, it's like if she smiles, it's like I'm Superman.
yeah,
That's looks me in the eye and smiles. That's like wow, big. Um, we also like when everybody started, hey man, you've been absent from social media, what's going on? It's like my wife and I are just spending a crazy amount of time together.
yeah. I think
you
I
know
remember
we're we're
that time. I said like, "Hey, Rich, are you all right?" And then you told me, "Yeah, man, everything's great actually." And I was like, "Cool, for real, bro."
and,
Because you know
and
what?
and to tell the truth, it's like Sabr, Crump, and Dark, and Joe Shooting Gallery New England, and Richard Hoffman, and Richard Hoffman isn't the kind of guy you share your feelings to.
Yeah,
So Richard Hoffman knows what goes on in my life, but maybe I don't pour my soul out to him
correct.
because he'd tell me just man up and you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, I call Sabr. I'm like, hey man, pray for my marriage,
yeah. I remember that.
and
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 I noticed something was off, bro, because I would watch your shows and I would start seeing you like start getting the bottle and drinking, and I'm like, but you were doing it too often, and that's not you. You know what I mean? Like that's not you, bro. Like, and people were like, and I remember somebody said like, oh, like Rich is trying to bust like a WTS because you know how the WTS shows everybody would be drinking and it was just like everybody's happy. And I was like, I think I told him, nah, bro, I don't think it's that, bro. Like,
well,
I think it's something else, right? And that's when you sent me
I
the message and you called me and you asked me, to
yeah.
pray for you, bro. And I was
Hmm.
like, damn, bro, like I knew something was wrong because you were picking up the bottle more and more, and I noticed that, bro. Like I'm a person that's very I pay attention to certain things in life,
Hmm. Hmm.
and when I see something off, I'm like, no, that's not Rich. Like that's not Rich.
And I haven't been drunk in more than 15 years. If I've had more than 3 or 4 drinks in an evening, that's probably a crazy number.
But let me ask you this: do you think around that time when you were having those issues, you think that in a way alcohol kind of like made you not really think about it or over like it was kind of a way for you to cope or kind of relax? Like that's why you were doing
Uh,
or you were just
more
have fun?
just help me go to sleep.
Mm.
Get me tired because
Yeah,
I drink, I get tired.
yeah.
That's
And what about now, bro? Do you need a drink at night to put you
I
to sleep or not really?
and I don't think I've had a drink. Well, all right, other than socially, like
Yeah.
Terry has a friend that always seems to have a dinner party every weekend. And so I think I've had 2 beers since Terry and I reconciled.
That's cool, man. Like that's dope. Like
So,
that's how you know. That's how you know that you're happy when you don't really like. You don't need anything
it,
in you, right? Like you
it and
start.
that's that's the funny thing.
Yeah,
I do enjoy beer and I do enjoy tequila,
yeah,
and I want to drink. Now, I don't. What? Because, like I said, I get tired and then I don't get shit done.
yes, correct.
So I, and same thing with working out. Like Terry's a workout nut,
Yeah.
and so we were working out. Just she got home late, and we worked out. We had dinner, and it's like I just kind of ran away from the table and let. She said she was going to clean up, and I felt bad leaving her with it. But we were coming on the show here,
Oh, sorry about.
and yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, we all knew the commitment. She
Yeah.
told me to go, and I still helped.
Okay, cool.
Um, so it it's like I do enjoy drinking tequila, drinking beer, but again, I don't want to be tired. Just like I get tired after I work out. Like
No,
Terry gets endorphins, I get tired.
yeah. So with me, right? Like I know that I need to control my liquor because, like I said yesterday, my liquor is like if I get a little bit of alcohol in me, I'm gonna want something else, and it's gonna be easier for me because
Ah,
yeah,
okay, all right.
but when I do drink, and I don't really drink often, I only drink like I think my sister had a baby shower. She was doing like she's gonna have a baby, finally her girl.
Is that where you crush the glass in your hand?
No, 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 that was somewhere else. That's why I don't like going there either. But if I look, look, I'm gonna tell you something. Like I don't like Sabr when he's in a social event. Like I'm very social. I'm the life of the party type of thing. But I don't feel right going to an event and having to do that when I'm not feeling social myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I I I
So,
feel weird doing it. So a lot of the times I don't go out that much. They have to kind of drag me out. I went out to my sister's and I was drinking, and then the beer finished. So I was drinking black beer like Negra Modelo, and it finished, and I moved to light, and then the light beer was gone. I moved to Seltzler, like Trulies and stuff like that.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the next day, bro, I had a hangover for like 2 days straight. Like that's the
All right.
problem that I get
So
hang.
first off, pro tips on drinking. Drink a glass of, whether it's a bottle of beer or a shot or a mixed drink, and then drink a glass of water. Hydration is very important. B complex vitamin before you go to bed. So, believe it or not, down one of these, if you're drinking before you go to bed, you won't wake up with a hangover or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do like that. Like before I knew if I was gonna go drink, I'll drink a glass of water, and make sure like I probably took like an Advil or some type of like painkiller. Not
Well,
painkiller.
the B complex vitamin metabolizes the alcohol.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try that next time. But I mean, I don't know, bro. Like to be honest, I think I think because I started drinking at a young age, like okay, so I don't know if people know this, but I had a, like, when I was like 15, I was living like a life of somebody that was probably already in their 30s, bro. Because I grew up really quick. I don't know why, but wanted to be an adult really fast. Like that was
No,
crazy,
everybody did. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to grow up fast, and I didn't understand it. So now a good time for me is having conversations with people, picking people's brains,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I'm gonna learn something different from your experience. I'm gonna take that in and just even after the show is done, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna replay it in my head, whatever we talked about right now, and I'll get something off of it. Like this guy told me that if you're not around people that each day you learn something new, don't be around those people.
Right.
Like
Right. Don't be the smartest person in the room.
correct, correct. Um, so man against he says I quit drinking in 1986, the year I got out of the army.
Wow.
That's dope.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the Gunman Bacon says nothing wrong with wanting to drink. That's where you want to be, needing to drink. Yes, needing to drink is
Yes. Yeah.
So and I went through a phase like that where I would have to drink alcohol just to sleep, bro. Like, and that's
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I had a friend like that.
I had a problem.
He's not with us anymore.
Yes, people
All
don't.
right. So can I tell you
Go
probably
ahead.
my best alcoholic blackout story?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go.
All right. So, um, my family had a boat, like a 20-foot speedboat.
Yeah.
And on Long Island, you would go over to Fire Island to party during the summer.
Okay.
So I would hotwire the boat and take it out and siphon gas. Statute of limitations is all over on all of this stuff.
Back.
Siphon gas from school buses to put in the boat, and I would also like dig clams and sell them illegally to buy gas and beer.
Yeah.
And so I'm over at Kismet Beach on Fire Island, and we're at somebody's apartment, and they had like a bottle of Jack Daniels, and I chugged the bottle. Last thing I remember.
Damn.
Next thing I know, I'm on the I'm on the couch. I wake up on the couch in the den in my house. This is before I was driving or anything, so I had a bicycle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know what happened, how I got home or anything.
Yeah.
So my friend that I was with, my neighbor, he drove the boat home, tied it up perfect, cleaned it because I was like always very meticulous. Cleaned the boat and carried me like the 3 miles home.
What?
Like opened the door and like dropped me in the back door, and then my mom found me and got me on the couch.
Damn. And you don't
So it's
remember?
like I wake up, yeah, I don't know anything. So I wake up and I'm like, this is all before cell phone. This is like early 80s or mid 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like I get on the bike, try to play it cool, ride down to the boat. The boat's there and perfect. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then, like later that day, I hear from my friend and I'm like, holy shit, So crazy story.
Yeah, man. I think those are like the best blackouts, right? When you wake up and you don't remember what happened and you have to call people to tell them like, "Hey, what happened?" To make sure you didn't do anything stupid, right? And I remember a lot of the times I wake up and call my friend, right? What happened, bro? They're like, "I don't know, bro. You just disappeared." And I do that. So I would measure myself, and when I started feeling weird, I'll just start walking home, bro. And
Oh,
then
wow.
boom, like because usually everything that I do is around the area where I live. You know what I mean? Everything's
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
walking distance, so I know that I'm gonna walk home because I got I got in trouble one time with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law was I had a drinking problem. My brother-in-law drank to another extreme. Like I remember he picked me up one time in his truck and we went to buy beer. As soon as he buys the beer, bro, we're driving home. He pops the beer and he hands one to me, and I'm like, bro, I don't drink and drive, bro. Like that's a no no. He's like,
Oh
nah,
my God.
it's fine.
That was like a rite of passage when,
Yeah,
I graduated high school in 83. And it's like, even like the first jobs I had, we'd go drinking for lunch.
yeah, it was normal. Like it used to be normal. Like it wasn't that bad. He goes to Taco Bell, bro. He's fighting with the people at Taco Bell, and I'm like, bro, I think Taco Bell is closed. So then he's like, oh, okay. So then he comes home and he thinks he sees my sister, and I'm like, look, it's your sister. I thought she was going home. I'm like, I don't think that's my sister. He turns the truck really hard. The truck does one of these things where it lost control and it just went like a pinball table, bro. Like, pa pa pa
Oh
pa.
no. Oh
The rear,
man.
the rear axle broke, and then I'm like, bro, let's get out of here. Like, report it stolen, like, let's go. And he's like, nah, bro, I can't. He's drunk and I'm drunk. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna go call my sister, right? So I start walking to the house. I get home, I'm hungry. I start eating some cold food, and my sister looks at me and she's like, what happened? I'm like, hey man, your boyfriend just crashed. And she's like, no, you're lying. I'm like, yeah, he did. And luckily he didn't even get a DUI that day, bro. Like, and he was a minor too, which was
Oh jeez.
crazy. But yeah, that's why I don't drink and drive because I like why am I gonna do something like that? Like I know so many people that keep doing the same thing over and over, and it's just like I think drinking and driving really messes your life up, and not just that, bro.
Oh
Like, you
yeah,
could
yeah.
crash, like you could kill somebody, like you could hurt people.
Oh, in my dad, my dad passed, in December, and prior to my sister taking him in, he was, my dad always drank. He was always some form of an alcoholic,
Yeah,
but oh man, it went, you know, to excess. I couldn't tell you how many times he dried out in the hospital, like
damn.
really badly. And one time I was there with him, they the doctors told me, like, they were giving him, I believe it was lorazepam.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
They
like,
have to,
they're
like a
like, I don't know if we can give him any more. You may have to take him out and get him a drink.
yeah.
I was like, what kind of doctor are you? But apparently that's a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
alcohol withdrawal is the worst. So I'll tell you guys something. In jail, if you go in jail and you're sick from opiates, they won't give you anything. But if you go to jail and you tell them that you're an alcoholic or that you're withdrawing from benzos, they're gonna give you benzos because they don't want you to die during their care because then they'll get sued. So the trick that a lot of opiate addicts had was that once they knew they were going to get arrested, they either took something with them or as soon as they got intake, they told the person, "I'm an alcoholic." Like they drank a beer and they said, "I'm an alcoholic," and they got tested and the alcohol came out in their blood system, and that's the only way they would get something for withdrawals because
mm-hmm,
alcohol
mm-hmm.
you could truly die from withdrawals of alcohol, which is weird, right? Because nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever told it.
Well, that's like the interesting thing about pot. Like, you can't OD on pot from smoking it, but if you make a tea and drink it, or if you
Oh,
put it in brownies and eat
yes,
it, you can OD.
yes, you could have a bad time. You could have a really bad time, bro. Like the worst. So it's just weird, I guess, the ways that certain like alcohol is, right? Because alcohol was very normalized and it's always has
Mm-hmm,
been normalized,
mm-hmm.
but we don't
Yep.
even really know how dangerous it truly is. Like even having kids under the influence of alcohol, like now it comes out that your son, if he looks a certain way, is because he was born with like alcohol fetal syndrome or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Right, right.
I
Yeah,
look at
that's
the
messed up.
picture and I'm like, "Damn, that's like almost half of my cousins look like that." Now I understand why, to be honest, you know what I mean?
and
But
and
yeah,
so here's the thing. Let me hit on drugs, and you want to close it after an hour, right?
yeah, yeah, go ahead, man.
So I'm very libertarian on things, but also recognizing that even with crap like alcohol that's legal, we have a problem. And like my dad was a poster child for that. In later years,
Yeah,
and I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with something like pot, but um, one of the big reasons, and I smoked so little pot, it was amazing. It's like I'd hang out with my friends, they'd go to pass it to me, and I would, and occasionally I would, but rare,
I
super
did
rare.
inhale.
Right, right. I did, but not often.
Yeah,
And realistically, the thing that got me off things like that weren't legal is because either the guy growing it got shot in his field, or shot on the way to market to sell it, or shot on the way back when he had cash in his hand.
yeah,
Or you had no idea if it got sprayed with paraquat or any of that. You
yeah,
don't know. So the negative aspects of the illegal trade supply chain and not wanting other humans to take dirt naps is why I'm against those things. Now, if California does it, Colorado does it, makes it legal, I think we have 50 states and we have 50 experiments in democracy, and I'm all for that. I don't necessarily have to agree with it or disagree with it, but it's like and secondhand smoke, right? Right.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't necessarily have an issue with it because I'd be a hypocrite. I like alcohol.
Mhm.
I don't drink a whole lot, but I don't think pot is a bad thing. Unless Doritos go up in price,
And Taco Bell, they got the
and
Munchie
Taco
box. The
Bell. Yeah.
Jack in the Box has the same thing. I think like you're right, man. Like I said yesterday, I believe that you could do anything you want, but wait till you're a certain age. Like because I think now
Yeah.
targeting the kids too much, and as a kid, you're not fully developed. You're going through hormones. You're going through changes. Even men, they say that
Well,
men mature way later than women, right? Um,
yeah, yeah.
I think they
So
just
I matured. I think I finally got out of the drunken stupor phase. So in my late teens and most of my 20s, I had brief periods of sobriety, and I think what finally got me out of it was I bought the family house from my dad.
okay.
My dad, he moved to Pennsylvania. He had another place, and I bought the house.
Oh,
And so finally, stuff got real for me.
yeah, yeah. You became a real adult.
Yep. With
Uh,
real adult problems.
correct. Correct. And like you said, man, I I think everything is good in moderation. And
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
they don't explain stuff like that to us. Like they anything new comes out and it's a
People
miracle.
do, but most of the time you don't listen.
It's that, and then at the same time, remember when you were a kid, like you had a toothache,
Yeah,
it was
you
safe
said it
to
last night. Yeah.
rub some rum around his mouth. We don't understand that this kid is evolving. His mind is not fully developed. Now you're
hmm
giving
hmm
him something that is giving him dopamine, and that dopamine is gonna make him excited, and he's gonna want that more,
hmm
and
Oh
that's how
yeah.
addictions happen. So, I mean, everything in moderation, and
hmm
everything should be legalized. Like I always say, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you're not doing anything dumb,
Right.
and you're staying to yourself, you should be able to do whatever you want, except being a damn pedophile. Because pedophiles need to get castrated, bro. I don't approve of.
There should be wood chippers involved.
Yes, there should, because being a pedophile really messes up a kid's life. Like, to be honest, like, how are you gonna
That's
take the joy of a child away from him?
that's the worst sin.
It is, bro. Like, that's one of the deadliest sins, bro. People don't understand it. But Rich, I really appreciate your time, bro. I really appreciate you having here, and it's your turn to pick the hashtag for the Arc
Ah.
Tactical Magwell. So what is it gonna be?
Hmm. Hashtag MVY. That's the four-digit identifier for Martha's Vineyards Airport.
So NBY
Yeah, MVY. Hashtag MVY.
NBY. So make sure you guys input that hashtag at this moment. That way we could do a draw and see who's gonna be the winner of the second Arcane Tactical Magwell by Marconi. Come on, guys. It's MVY. Okay, so M.
Michael Victor Yankee.
There we go.
And on the radio, to be extra cool, when you're coming in for a landing, you're saying, we're cleared for landing at the vineyard.
Thanks. So shout out to Marconi for doing this. I really appreciate him doing this for the channel. So if you guys have time, make sure you guys go check out his website. I believe I tagged it.
Marconi's got cool stuff.
Yeah, bro.
They, where,
Don't you have a slide?
where's my slide?
Yeah, could you show that slide for us if you can?
Oh, hold on. I got one. I think it's around the other side here.
All right, cool. Come on, guys, input that hashtag. That way we could see who's gonna win that Arcane Tactical Magwell. And if you're 3D printing, the Mav 9 actually is one of the first, STL designs that you could fit a Marconi Arcane Tactical Magwell. So for you that are into the printing world, print a Mav 9.
Dude, I don't know where my Marconi slide is.
Bro, you lost it? That's a dope slide, bro.
It's like I got the Tiger Stripe 24 karat gold.
Yeah. All right.
I got the Patmos 365.
You can't find the Marconi slide. It's a sexy slide, man.
Another Patmos slide. Where? Serious? Wait. Nope. Another SIG P365 slide.
Rick, what?
That I'm flipping.
You
I'm
have
kind of
so many
flipping on
slides,
this.
bro.
Dude, make it stop. Where's that slide?
Now you're gonna have issues.
Yeah, yeah.
MBY. Okay, so you guys
They
ready?
they sent me a cool slide.
Yeah, their slides are amazing. Are you guys ready? Let's see. While Rich looks for that slide, I am going to do the giveaway. So make sure that you guys use that hashtag. If you haven't,
Dude.
we can find out who the winner is going to be.
I see the case it came in, it's empty.
Yeah, the case. Show the case. I think the case has a picture in the front. And we have 9 entries. So if you guys are not going to.
Dogenado.
Yeah, Dosnado's in the house. Shout out to him. And I'm going to hit the draw, guys. I'm going to hit that draw.
Do, 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 do,
Kurt
do.
24.
Kurt 24. Cool. Cool. Kurt's a supporter of many of us.
Yes, he is.
So good for him.
Kurt
Congratulations.
24.
Oh, P80 Ralph promo code for 10% off at Marconi.
Yeah, make sure you guys go check it out. Let me share his stuff real quick so you guys can see what he has, because he has really dope stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. That Marconi, like their Instagram. Oh man, I go through. I'm like, oh, take my money, take my money,
Bro, like look
take
at
my
the
money.
sides, bro. Like look at this camel one. I think it's the camel gold edition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at that thing,
Gosh.
bro. Like just the lines on this slide, and you know what? I really never liked tall sights till I got them on a Marconi slide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their
Mm-hmm.
sights with the tall sights, it's amazing,
Yep.
and they're good sights. They're not the plastic ones. They're actually, I believe, they're aluminum, and they're sturdy slides. Especially having that big, that tall slide in the back, it just makes it easier to rack your gun on the go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, like on your table, anywhere you can just rack it that bitch.
Bottom of your shoe,
Yeah,
your
and
belt,
your teeth. If you're Mexican, your teeth. Just like
your
if
grill.
oh yeah, open your grill. Just make sure you don't mess the gold, because gold grills are very soft. But yeah, check out his stuff, man. Go support him. He's a cool guy, and he's fighting behind enemy lines. Also, he's actually from
Yeah,
California, so
yeah, yeah.
he's fighting the good fight, guys. Make sure you guys go check him out. If you guys go check out his Instagram and just like his pictures, leave some comments.
Yeah, the Marconi IG. It's like if you just want to like empty your bank account, that's the shit.
Bro, I helped rig that election allegedly. No, I'm joking. I didn't. I voted for Trump. But yeah, guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate for Rich. Like, I usually before we start a show, I tell him like, "Hey, are you okay talking about this?" But I think I this time it was just Rich had stuff to do. He joined and we just went straight forward. So I apologize for that, Rich. But thank you
No,
for
it's all right.
sharing. Thank you for sharing, because I think we need to be more open, and we need to
Mm-hmm.
be able to let go of our past, of let the people know that we're all human and we all have flaws,
Yeah.
but we need to
Yeah,
go.
and I try to do that. I realized, like, if you ever look, if I do a video by the pool, I got a tiki hut that's falling apart. And I
Yeah.
used to hide that in the video. And I'm like, you know what? People might look and say, oh, wow, look at that guy. Great life, cool guns, whatever.
Oh,
It's like, you know what? We're just like you. Frickin' we have train wrecks running in our life all the time. And, finally it was one of those poolside chats. And I'm like, you know what? You see
I think I
that
remember
tiki
that.
hut?
Yeah,
I said,
I
you see
remember
that tiki hut? That's my personal life. That's my personal life right there. Don't let people show you this part of their life and hide that part, because
that.
that's my, I just want to be authentic.
If you guys would see me, like I'm holding on with duct tape and tape and everything. Like that's my life. No, but for real. Thank you guys. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you.
Yep.
I hope to do another show with you later on. And thank you for always being a supportive guy, bro. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, and likewise, you jumped on yesterday with John Crump. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You and Crump have always been there for me, so I really appreciate you guys. You, Crump, Dark, everybody that's here watching and supporting. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, and
Mhm.
have a great night.
Right, man. Thanks.
Bye.